Hello everyone, welcome to the Last Game Standing experience, the place where we play games, review games, talk about games. Basically, everything we do here is about video games. Now today, we'll be reviewing a little indie title called Trek to Yomi. Trek to Yomi is a downloadable game that you can currently grab on the PlayStation Network, and it's available for both the PS4 and the PS5. It was developed by the independent developer Flying Wild Hog and published by Devolver Digital. Have you ever watched one of those old Japanese samurai movies that used to come on back in the day, like in the 80s and the 70s? Now for a lot of us, this is basically pre-internet and even pre-pay TV for a lot of us. Well, for the most part, this is really the video game version of that, complete with the monochrome black and white color palette. Now personally, I have fun with the game once all was said and done, but I'm not going to deny the game has a bit of frustration that kind of comes along with it. I'll basically kind of explain that during the course of the review. Now some people might like this for the aesthetic alone, because like I said, has a nostalgia factor with the Japanese samurai movies, but for the most part, for some people that might not even be enough. It's part of why I have such a middle of the road feeling about this game in general. Trek to Yomi is both a story of revenge and a redemption. As for where it takes place, well, they never really say, but considering the nature of the game, I guess they really didn't have to. The protagonist that you'll be controlling over the course of the game is a young boy named Hiroki. Now at the beginning of the game, he's training in the ways of the sword with his master Sanjuro. While they're in their training session, Sanjuro's daughter Aiko is watching from outside through the window. Their training session is cut short as the village is being attacked by bandits. Sanjuro wants to stop the attacking bandits, telling his students to stay behind. Of course, like any protagonist in pretty much every video game in existence, he defies this order as both he and Aiko rush to help. About halfway through, Aiko stays behind while Hiroki continues on, cutting down any of the bandits that come along the way. Eventually, he runs into the bandits' boss Kagero. After the very cliched mismatch of a fight, Kagero is about to finish off Hiroki, but before that can actually happen, his master Sanjuro intervenes, and instead the two of them fight. The fight ends when both Sanjuro and Kagero lay finishing blows on one another and their souls go to Yomi. Yomi is basically this game's way of saying the afterlife. Okay, now I spoiled basically the first chapter. I'm not going to spoil any more of that for you for those that don't want to be spoiled. Now graphically, the game isn't that bad or anything, but there isn't anything there that's going to really hit you with that wow factor either. It simply just looks like an old monochrome samurai movie. Now all in all, and for the most part, that's fine, considering that's pretty much the focus of the game in the first place. Now beyond that, there really isn't much there for me to critique in this regard. As far as I can tell, there wasn't any real attempt to break any new ground or hit some sort of graphical standard. Now some people might like it, but others, they'll probably feel like it's just a little bit of a gimmick. Now as a result, that might detract from the next part that we actually need to cover, the gameplay. Okay, this is where I start to have issue with the game. Now the first thing I want to talk about are the fixed cameras. Now in most games, normally this isn't really all that bad. But because this game is in plain black and white monochrome, sometimes it gets really hard to tell where you need to go. For example, there tend to be some areas in the game where it looks like you should be able to reach them, but in reality, you can't. I won't lie, that did annoy me a bit, but that wasn't really much of a deal breaker. The more pressing problem for this game was the combat itself. You would think that the combat for this game wouldn't be so clunky, but it is, and it takes a lot of getting used to, or at least that's my take on it personally. The frustration is that the combat is unforgiving in the sense of button press accuracy. Okay, here's an example. Let's take a look at a combo in the game. If a combo is backward plus square, triangle, square, you have to be precise. There's like no room for error at all. If you're still holding backward when you're pressing the square or triangle, the combo won't register. Now most modern games, or even old games, give you leeway in this regard in terms of the combos, but this one, nope. It's not totally rough, but it does take a bit of getting used to. I mean, personally, even in my gameplay videos, there was moments where I was literally just swinging with no enemies around, and that was really just for the sole purpose of getting used to the combos. Fortunately, if you're not too good with the swordplay of the game gives you projectiles such as like arrows, a cannon, and throwing stars. These normally run out quickly, but you can also find a whole bunch of them through the levels along with health boosts, stamina boosts, and collectibles throughout the game. Now one final bit about the gameplay that I personally feel makes it a little bit easier to deal with will be the finishing blows. When your enemy is stunned, you can give them a finishing attack that actually gives back some of your energy. Now personally, I ended up spamming this once I actually understood how to do it. Now aside from the combos, another feature that might be tough for a lot of games to deal with is the fact that you have to literally press the X button to turn while you're in combat. Now if you try to reverse your walking while doing so, you'll just end up walking backward instead of actually turning around. This can actually easily become a big issue for a lot of the gamers when you're surrounded by bandits. Individually, the control frustrations normally wouldn't be so bad, but the fact that they're all in one package, i.e. the game, yeah, I can imagine a good many people will probably complain about it. Overall, I've pretty much grown accustomed to the game, but that was after a whole bunch of trial and error. Now in all honesty, I can't say that I would have been happy if I had bought this game. I had it in my PlayStation Plus download, so I decided to give it a shot. I mean, why not? You're paying for the service. Now in my opinion, the game feels like it's hoping to coast off of being an old samurai flick come to life. Now I'm assuming they use that aesthetic to disguise the fact that the game is very clunky in terms of gameplay mechanics. If you're actually interested in buying this, I would not buy this at full price. I will wait for it to go on sale on PlayStation Network. Now PSN constantly has a ton of sales, so you'll probably see this there at some point. Or better yet, if you have a PlayStation Plus account, check your backlog, you might have it there too. Save yourself some bucks. Now the game only has 7 chapters and it has multiple endings, so I guess if you're looking for replay value, there is that. You know, for those that kind of want to see everything. But don't let the decor here deceive you. This game is pretty average. Again, that's also my opinion. Now, we've come to the end of this review. With that said, I want to let everyone know about our giveaways. We'll be giving away a $10 PSN card or a $10 Amazon card every week. We'll also be giving away physical games to anyone at the end of the month. Now currently, we can only send the physical games to the United States. So if anyone resides outside the US, we'll be sending you the money equivalent for that instead. To be eligible, just be a subscriber and comment on our YouTube videos, Twitch, or our website. Now it's a good idea to be signed up to all of them because winners can come from any of the 3. Just make sure that your account is public so that we can see that you're a subscriber in case you win. Now that's the end of our video. Thanks for hanging with us. Hope to see you guys again soon. Thank you.